Hello, and thank you for joining us today for the 2021 Gala event. Sorry, you were shaking your
Night of Dreams, baby. Night of Dreams.
Night of Dreams. Today, standing with me is Chase Parson, one of the heads at the local Dream Center, and today we're going to be talking about exactly what this night means and exactly what's going to happen, and I just want to thank you for tuning in with us right now. Chase, any opening words?
I'll tell you, everybody, this is for our very first, not only just, it's not even a completely virtual event. This is a in-person and virtual event. This is our very first ever. It would have been our first ever to ever do a virtual event, but we decided to go a little bit further and do a hybrid and do both. Because I'm always a very optimistic guy that likes to shoot way over the edge. And I'm a both and kind of guy. So when we got together and we were trying to figure out what to do, I was like, let's do both. Let's just see what we can do and see what happens. So thank you so much for being a part of our first ever simulcast, live, in person, and virtual event. And it's going to be a great night. This is the one night where we it's one of the biggest fundraisers we have all year. We had to miss out last year, and like a lot of other people, like all the COVID and everything that happened in 2020 just kind of threw wrenches in. But we are back, and we are excited to actually out of that kind of be pushed forward in a whole another spectrum of doing things outside of the box like we probably never would have even before. So thank you so much for being a part of this event. We've got a lot of great items that silent auction and live auction that you will be able to participate in. And right now you can participate right now and start bidding on those items right now. All year, we basically help make dreams come true. We're located in Southwest Oklahoma City, and we are in the 73119 zip code. That's our backyard, and that is among the highly most actually the most populated areas in Oklahoma City. And we are basically reaching out to our community every single day, every single week through there's 4 basic methods of whether you come into the doors and we meet you and we get to know you through our community resource center. That basically anything from getting an ID to basically helping you set up a resume or getting a job, or even finding assistance on better housing or whatever. We will find if we're not directly able to help meet that need, we are able to help you find the people that can in the local city surroundings. So we do that through our community resource center. That also encompasses our hunger relief that we've helped a lot, and we'll go into that later. But our hunger relief, our food distribution, our clothing closet, and then we go into our at-risk kids programs, after school summer programs, and even seasonal outreaches. One of our favorites is Christmas in the Hood. I'm telling you, if you haven't ever been a part of Christmas in the Hood, you need to be a part of it. It's
as soon as possible.
It's crazy. Like last year, guess what Santa wore? He was in an Adidas jumpsuit. Ooh. I mean, I'm telling you, literally, it was one of the coolest things ever, and that was just one of the parts. And so all of those seasonal drives and the at-risk kids programs, and then also we have our DC Living for transitional living for men that currently serves men coming out of prison or rehab that we serve, that literally, in order to meet the need that they don't have an ability to find a place coming out of those things other than going right back to the home environment that may have gotten them in that situation. We give them that bridge in order to basically make that successful transition, get them back into society, help them with the IDs, help them with getting jobs, discipline, and managing their time, finances, and all that, in order to get back to being the man that they're called, their purpose to be, the father that they may be purposed to be and called to be, the husband, and everything. And so we've got the community resource center and the basic needs. We've got the at-risk kids programs. We have have the DC Living program. Man, what else do we have?
So much that we do, it's hard to keep track.
It's crazy.
And the funny thing about all of it is that it's towards an amazing cause in every way possible. And A Night of Dreams has so much meaning behind it, not just towards one little charity group, but towards so many outreaches that affects kids, adults, people trying to restructure their lives. And believe it or not, that whole monologue, unscripted and only 2 cups of coffee, and he was just going, and I could not keep up. Man, this man is something to behold, I am telling you what. But Chase, speaking of Night of Dreams,
Yep.
if you were to put it in perspective for people that were trying to figure out exactly what this cause is for, how would you put it simply, what you want to achieve tonight?
So tonight, Night of Dreams is always currently in the last 5 years. It has been our main fundraiser, and that basically goes to just making the one night in the year to help raise awareness, help raise through that awareness, raise new supporters that are interested in basically coming alongside us that haven't had that opportunity yet. And then also give our current supporters new vision and give them new things in order to share that we're actually expanding our programs with. Tonight we actually have a goal of $60,000. That is we are in the current stages of renovating our some of the buildings that help house DC Living for men. Last year we had the roof taken off by a good old Oklahoma windstorm that just comes out of nowhere and then just does damage and leaves and doesn't, foots us with the bill. You know how it is. Many of you at home, like you understand, and so that kind of hit us. And there were other things, that the snowstorm and different things. So a lot of that is we've got renovation and expansion projects. We've got we're looking to basically re-implement and start ramping back up our summer kids programs and a lot of the others. So basically 60 grand, and that's and don't ever consider me a man that basically likes to put limits on things. But when I had a group of people basically get around me and say, hey, you need a realistic limit, but I would be happy with 120. But our goal that you can easily help us reach is $60,000 tonight.
And the thing about the Dream Center is that we're not the limit center, we're the Dream Center. And it's through you guys that we can get to those achievements that we set for ourselves. We don't go by the bare minimum, we go by the examples that you set, and by helping and allowing us to make these outreaches to the people that need it and to be there for them at the time in their lives that they most need it. And, going off on that, you said that you help children with their summer outreach programs. Like, what's just a simple, what's something you do?
So like on the summer outreach programs, we are currently revamping those to basically get back to where we were before COVID hit. Yeah, and so basically we looked at have the center open for 4 days a week, whether that's 2 to 3 hours a day, to where there's when our executive director and her late husband began on their journey and their starting journey on this mission to where we are today, they wanted a safe place where the kids around that area could come to. If their home base wasn't safe, the Dream Center and the campus of the Dream Center was purposed to be a safe place for kids to come to. And that is, we have a vast majority, almost half of the population is 18 and under. So, we've got a huge job, and literally I know that that's probably happened between the last 10 years. There's been shifts and everything around the city to where, for some reason, our zip code has become very condensedly packed with potential. And I look at that as not a problem. I look at that as an opportunity in order to basically, literally we are given the opportunity to focus focus on a very packed in target. And it's almost like when you're going turkey hunting or like, and I said hunting, but like turkey hunting, deer hunting, or anything like that. And like, you know, your dream would be to just have like 5 or 6 all together so that you know you're not going to miss a shot. Mm-hmm. That's our deal. We're gonna literally shoot, and we're going to hit targets because we believe that each and every one of these kids, whether it's having a safe place to come and get tutoring or get help with homework, or just have a safe place to hang out, shoot hoops, play together on the playground that we have, or Foursquare, or any of the things that we have for them to just spend time, that they're in a positive and uplifting environment. We believe that each kid has potential, and that potential is linked to their families and everything else. And you never know the power of that is within the life that you are right next to. So when you tap into that, when you encourage that, when you start being a light into that, and start like seeding that, and basically planting potential and opportunity into that. You never know. You might be speaking to the next president of the United States. You might be like pouring into the next CEO of Tesla or Apple or whatever. You just don't know. But then the coolest part about it is every opportunity is you can be that person that years down the road you're like, man, I spoke into him. Look at where that went.
We helped him grow.
Yes.
Gave him that opportunity, especially when you look at how COVID affected so many people, and not even accounting for the weather. COVID alone, many people had to lose their jobs, go out of business, and try to recover from that. And it's the families that get affected. And when we come in and we provide that financial need, we provide that clothing need, and we come in and we help those that need it the most. And going off, you know, other than just the kids now, you said DC Living for Men.
Yep.
What exactly is that program, and who are the men that you help?
So that program was born out of our experience when we partnered with Oklahoma City Adult and Teen Challenge for Men. They were on the same property for several years, and we. Through getting to know, both the staff there and the clients, the men, the young men. I mean, literally, these are men from 18 to potentially like 70, 75 years old. I mean, we saw all of them. So it's a 13-year at Oklahoma City Adult and Teen Challenge is like a 13-year program. And they are very micromanaged, which like when you're battling addiction and different things like that you need very heavy accountability to basically kickstart you back into the right direction. And so that program is very heavy in accountability. Mm-hmm. We saw a lot of students that once they graduated was crazy. They were doing so well. And then they just got like taken right back home, and coming from a heavy layer of accountability to going back home to like no accountability, that messes you up. Like you kind of have like it's almost like living in a foreign country and coming back to America, and then you're just like you're culture shocked. And so we saw that was a need that started coming out of some of the experiences that some of these guys were having, and so Deb she's always had a heart for since she and her late husband Rob started was basically also not only just the kids, but also they saw the effect of the absence of fathers in the home. And so that was kind of what led her heart to be towards really doing whatever we could that was within our capability to restore fatherhood, to restore men to where they are called and purposed to be. And so we sat down, we got together, and we really thought about how to fix the problem and meet the need of coming out of a intensive program like Adult and Teen Challenge or a rehab, and basically going, what is that next step? That you're not ready to go home and just be loosey-goosey and not have any accountability whatsoever. You you need a middle step, like to where you're just like, okay, I can graduate into this. I still need some light accountability, maybe. So our program kind of met that, is currently meeting that need. We've served over 80 men so far. We're in our 4th year of this program going on. And basically, like we have random drug checks every single week, once a week at least, and then room checks and everything. And but yet all of the men have our doors are open to all of our resources through the community resource center, like clothing closet, food, and everything. And then that's also most of them coming out of prison. They don't even get their IDs, so they're like literally without IDs. And their important documentation. And so that's basically where we start. And then we go from there, building up a resume, and we go off of a sheet that basically helps go on what do you have need physically, whether that's physically, spiritually, where do you want to, what do you have, like what are you health-wise right now, and where do you want to be within like 5 months down the road or 3 months or whatever. And so we have the stage program where we're set up to basically find out where they want to know, because that's what we do at the Dream Center. We're like, what dreams do you have? If your circumstances were not breathing down your neck right now, what dream would you want to accomplish? And as soon as we can get them to voice that and bring that to life for them through voicing that, our job is to come alongside them and go, you know what, we're willing to help you do that, and we're going to do what we can in order to achieve that dream. So the DC Living does that for these men coming out of the rehabs and those type of programs, and it's not for any period of time. We would love for people not to take up permanent residency for 5 years, but most of our guys, they'll either successfully transition out like within 6 months to a year, and that's been the majority of our guys. So.
And I had the blessing of being able to be right up in front in this program and being able to meet those men and see the needs that they needed and how they were able to achieve them. And the way I always looked at it was, these guys, when they come out of these rehabs, they come out of prison, they need somewhere, and on paper, they don't look good, but in person, they're men that you would not believe how wholeheartedly they are. And we provide that structure, that way back to transitioning into a life that they haven't known for a while. And we give them that pathway to becoming, and I like how you put it, to becoming back to that purpose of a father, of a man, of a hardworking person in society. And we give them that laid down path to begin that transition. And that's one of my personal favorite outreaches that we partake in. Now, going off of something I know you just started recently doing as an outreach is you prepare meals on Wednesdays, and you go and deliver that to some of the people who are more in need and all that. Do you mind giving us some details?
So you were talking about the effects of COVID. So one of the main it's becoming a buzzword right now is one of the main effects that we have all experienced, except for extreme introverts. They're fine with it. They're like, this is great. Everybody is coming to my side of life. But it's isolation. Whether that like working from home, kids trying to
online school.
Yeah, like I mean, it's like when I was a kid, like I was like, you do not, like I am not trustworthy enough. I was never trustworthy enough as a kid to basically be disciplined, get up, make sure, like I mean, I was like, my parents had to get me to school, and then I had the teachers to like have to keep my attention. So I was like, when I heard about this whole everybody's going to online school, I knew that was going to tank. Like I mean, the kids' levels of education and everything, and it literally did. But also relationally, we hear about the huge increase of suicide rates, all of the trouble 911 calls coming from like violence in the home and everything, and all of this is literally because of isolation, because we are not a species that is meant to be isolated. We are meant to be in community and be around people and interact with people. And even Zoom and Google and technology only go so far. Like literally it is like I would give my left arm to have this type of interaction with you than doing Zoom for the rest of my life. I'd probably stab myself in the eye, because like it only satisfies so far. And so there was a point in time where Deb and I were really talking about this problem, and I was like, it's time for organizations like us and everything, for people to get back out on the streets and go to the people. Because like they're literally being told not to leave their homes and not to go outside their doors, not to do all this stuff and everything. And I was like, and the last thing they're going to do, because the first time, if they're ever told to go somewhere, they're going to go to the grocery store or somewhere else or whatever. But like what we are here for is to go to them and find a need and fill it, and find a hurt and heal it. And so literally dinner on us was, Deb has always been a great like cook and hostess type hospitality type person. And so we came up with dinner on us. And so we were going to start with one complex that was right across our street. And that was, starting small, working up big is something that is very wise. I go the opposite a lot, and that gets me in trouble. But so we've been serving. We started that a couple months ago, and we have worked ourselves up to serving 2 complexes and serving 120 meals every Wednesday night. Volunteer opportunity alert, that you can come down to our campus any Wednesday night at 5 p.m. That's 2212 Southwest 55th Street in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. And you can help us serve and distribute those meals. Or if you're ever interested, if you have a passion for cooking for people, give us a call, email us. You can call our office at 405-634-2615, or email us at info@dcokc.org, and we will get you plugged in to one of the weeks in order to cook a meal, or cook one of the 120 meals that we're doing. But it is crazy. The relationships, like coming out of isolation and then relationally connecting to people, and then literally the relationships and the different types of needs that we are finding out about, where people are at, where they are at personally, where are they at as far as being in the home or on just in their life. Giving a meal and checking on them like 2 to 3 weeks and 4 weeks in a row. We are connecting with our community now more than ever, and relationally getting our foot in the door where we haven't for over a year. And it's exciting, it's great, and it's super easy, because literally like you show up at 5, and literally we're done by like 5:30. Around 5:30 at the latest on most weeks. And so crazy good things are coming from that, and that was just we're just getting started.
Yeah. And that's the thing that's always amazes me about you guys and the volunteers that come to the Dream Center, is that, like you said, you get in trouble a lot, which I can attest to that, for his dreams and trying to set those standards and push those limits. When we first started, it was just one apartment complex that we would walk it over, and everybody was handing out meals as they go. And now we're moving on to 2, and hopefully more as we go on through the rest of these months. But the way I always looked at it was back, like, imagine like as a college kid and you didn't have enough money to go get yourself a meal, and now put that situation in a family and figuring out how to feed X amount of people in your household, and having somebody knock on your door with a couple of just pre-made meals and say, here you go, no charge, we just want to be here for you in these stressful times in your life. And to feel that weight off your chest as they look at you with amazement, for one, and 2, disbelief. It's something that people can't really experience until they're in that moment and they see how much it's appreciated, how much it's needed.
Yeah.
And it's amazing that we've been able to start this program so quick, and like you said, it's amazing things are going to keep on coming, and it's through volunteers that come to Inner City or Dream Center that make this possible. And that's what a Night of Dreams is all about, is that these volunteers come, they come through financial ways, they come through body volunteering hours, and no matter what we do, we put our mind to it and we accomplish so many things that just don't seem believable in the moment, but only seem like dreams at the time.
And one of those things you were talking about, like I recently in the last 2 months, I heard that the current stat on homes that are fighting hunger in the nation, 1 out of every 7 homes is struggling to keep food on the table, and that's actually what we saw through when our monthly Super Saturday food distributions. We used to have like 150 to 200 come in and sit and then walk through and get to basically take a cart and go through like they were at a grocery store and pick out their items and everything. And so COVID kind of stopped that. We quickly switched to a drive-through style that actually helped get like people back home very quickly and like just loaded them up and blessed them and sent them on their way. And we actually saw. We've been doing on average 150 every single month. Families, not individuals, families that are coming and getting served. And the majority of that, we saw a lot of and it's not surprising, but a lot of new people, as well as recurring clients that were coming and getting food. And that's one of those things that like I wanted to reiterate that we're making a difference in every single family that we resource through any one of our 4 methods of meeting needs right now, and that is strongly done by our monthly supporters. That you can easily do that through on our website. And setting that up on PayPal to easily just do like, I'm just going to give $10 every single month, or I'm going to give $50 every single month, and just set it up automatic recurring. Because I know that when I give and I try to remember myself, I never really do it. I've got so much going on in my head that I fail all the time to basically remember to go online or give. And so when recurring giving happened, I was like, you mean it's like one step and done? And I don't have to worry about it until I do something on my end and my card gets declined. I'm good with that. So I mean, like that is one of the main things that drives all of our programs, and it helps us with our main mission. We reach, rescue, and restore people isolated by poverty. And poverty comes in isolation. Poverty is relational isolation. It is resource isolation. It is all types of things that happen when we get into an area of poverty in life, and that's what makes our scope so wide. We're not just like, oh, we help lost animals. Like, we do so many things because a dream battling poverty can have so many faces. And we're there to try as best as we can to either meet that need or connect them to a resource that can meet those. And so literally, if you are able to online right now, you see where on our website, where on the event website, where you can donate any one of those amounts down there on the site. Literally, if you can do that monthly, that is better than any $50,000 donation, any big one. It is the monthly loyal and recurring faithful support of people like you that help us continue to do this every day, every week, every month, and every year.
And I think what's more important than anything is, like you said, we're an outreach. We reach for you and we come to your needs directly. We don't wait till you come to find us to tell us what you need. We are at your door, we are knocking, and we are always there to answer those needs. And what I would like to do right now is show you a video of one of our members in our DC Living telling us exactly how they've been affected by this and how your donations could help.
My name's Richard Pruden. I'm a resident at the Dream Center. I was involved in a criminal enterprise, and financial crimes, and I spent 26 years in the federal prison. I am not comfortable around people. About 10 years of the prison was in a box, so I'm not used to people. I've been on the edge of life for a long time, where I kind of want to die, to get it over with. But I don't want to hurt other people, so I don't know how to live. I don't know how. I don't know. Other people don't make sense to me. I don't understand them, not like regular people. I understand the environment I was in. I was in for 26 years, and it was bad. I'm different, gay. And that always makes it outsider anyways. And I had to fight, I had to kill. About 2 years ago, they let me go. And I had a couple different jobs. And the last job I had, I couldn't do it anymore. And I was drinking heavily, drinking a lot. And so I went to the counselor, Miss Lewis at Cornerstone, and she recommended to come here. And so I came over, and I've been here going on 2 months. For a couple of weeks, I was kind of out of it, because I have mental problems, PTSD and anxiety and all that. And I don't know how to use the phone and computer. It's all very confusing to me. But I know how to cook and clean and tidy things up. I like things clean. And so we all have chores to do. And the kitchen is something I can do because I don't leave. I seldom leave the place, just go to the store and that's it. The men provide for themselves, some things, but there's a lot of commodities and whatnot. And I kind of took the kitchen because they weren't cleaning it good, so I do it. And I'm going to school. I've signed up for community college, and then I'm looking for employment to work from home. So I don't have to be around people. I can work on computers, so that's my goal. And some of the men here really need it bad, and they appreciate it a lot. I'm one of the men who really appreciate when people accept me. I'm fortunately not destitute, but the friendship and fellowship and the support for other people, yeah, I appreciate it.
Thank you, Richard, for those words. And looking at that, you see what the support goes to and how exactly it affects these men and all these other programs. See, it's not just one thing we do an outreach towards or one person. We go towards family, children, all walks of life, all stages. We tackle and we give those needs and necessities, and we try to be there every step of the way.
I love like Richard's story and those stories like that. One of my favorite things to do is to when my literally daily schedule allows, is to get the chance to whether it's go take them for coffee or for lunch or whatever, and get to know their stories. So I heard once that there was a simple truth in life that we are 3 decisions away from complete. There's 3 main decisions that can all be amounted to either your success or your failure. And what is amazing is that these, you can't. The one thing that you will do to always mess yourself up on becoming or discovering a incredible story is basically just stereotyping in your mind, going, I probably know them. They probably did this and this and this and whatever. But you would not even be able to imagine some of the guys that we have had go through our program, and like literally from the gamut of completely like broken homes, extreme poverty, and just not having and not even like maybe even like a third grade education at best, to basically multi-million-dollar businessmen living lives of the rich and famous, if you're old enough to even know that reference. But and the Tony Stark and Elon Musk, lifestyles of traveling in those type of crowds, and then they make decisions that get them going down a path that gets them to a place of like literally hopelessness, and they hit rock bottom, and they need somebody that's not going to just condemn them at the bottom. They need somebody that's actually going to help them get back to where they can, and tell them, you know what, you can get back. Like, we can do this. Like, if you can do this, we can definitely do it together. And let's do it. Let's get you back to where your purpose to be. And so, like, it's so crazy hearing stories like Richard's, and it all came back from literally where we were built on in our history. Going back to our executive director, Deb Burke, and her late husband Rob. I mean, they literally started back doing just being asked and being called to step in and to lead a ministry that ministered to at-risk kids on like a Saturday like a sidewalk Sunday school type deal, just ministering to kids and literally feeding them full of candy and sending them home and candy and hope, and it was awesome, and it grew, and it started growing, and that through the relationships that they built with the kids, they started figuring out different needs that they could help meet with the families at home, and then they started seeing the needs for fatherhood and the absence of fathers, and how to try to help fix that, and actually not fix it, but change that dynamic. And so they started Inner City Church, and then on a Father's Day, they literally had their first service, and they started out with roundtables that were the bigger roundtables than this, and they started just ministering to people and giving people hope and joy, and having them sit around the tables together in round tables. And not just a line of chairs, but tables, and being fed afterwards, and just having basic needs met. And then at one point, they kept on being faithful with that. And then Mr. Green from Hobby Lobby heard about what they were doing, and he gifted them the property where we are right now, which was an old church property. They basically got plans, and they moved farther south in the city, and left that property, and he gifted it to them. And then they've been sharing the space and expanding programs and filling more needs since that very day. And I mean, it started. I came along through one of my friends that I grew up with. That was a very faithful volunteer, still is, with Deb and what they were doing at Inner City Church. And we came along in 2011, 2012. And I got to meet her, and our relationship began right there. And she let us start officing out of a couple office spaces out there, and we started Adopt a Block and helping out with all the other outreaches. And then 2 years later, our relationship grew and basically synced up so well that we sat down and we're like, let's structure this a little bit more simplistically, and let's start doing all that, like all outreach programs will operate under the Dream Center, and all of the inner city church programs will continue to operate under inner city church. And after that structural change, it's like everything just started going from addition and subtraction to multiplication, and we've been doing everything going gangbusters since. But those are just a few of the details. We have our full history online at our website at www.dcokc.org, and you can look at our full history there for any full details. But I mean, it's been crazy about how this whole mission and calling has just become an interwoven piece of fabric that is like
affecting the lives of so many.
Crazy. Like it's awesome, and it's crazy how it's all came apart and continued.
And what I think is the most important message about that whole story, and it's a wonderful story, and I mean, if I can just even take a break and say, being able to work on this project with you is such an honor on my end.
Yeah.
To be a part of an organization that not only tries to give so much, but always is one step ahead and giving more than people would imagine that was capable. And if you look at, just your story, Candy and Hope, you never would have thought that it would have started from the sidewalks with children to now being in their own building, helping others, helping the families, men in need, from rehabilitation, from jail, the children, being able to put them in clothes, to feed them. And just like how you said before, these are our most trying times. You have kids that are living in homes with domestic violence. You have people that aren't able to continue their education. You have people that are being basically left behind. And our job isn't to leave them behind. Our job is to pick them up and get them to where they need to be. And I think more than anything, the Dream Center has exemplified how a tiny movement can turn into such a great big act of change.
I want to stop right now, and I mean, you said it's an honor for you to be here. I mean, it's an honor for us to have you be a part of this. I mean, like, if you don't know, and if you haven't heard of electric nostalgia, this is the one and only Evan Dudick of Electric Nostalgia. They're on Facebook and Instagram and some other social media posts. The handle's right there. Search them out. This man will. I've seen them do almost anything, and it's crazy stuff. And I can relate to that because I'm one of those people. I will eat anything. I mean, if you bet me to do something, I will win that money and I will win the bet. And I love it. So thank you so much for being here tonight and helping us do that, and like for all the other events that you've helped MC and everything. Like it's great to have you too. Yeah. Speaking of, we actually have Deb's father-in-law, the locally famous, and actually even beyond locally, but it is Mr. Bob Burke. And he has been one of our longtime supporters, and he has a message about how supporting the Dream Center has been a huge part of his life and brought him a lot of joy as well.
Hello, my name is Bob Burke, and I support the Oklahoma City Dream Center for a number of reasons. First of all, I think it's the most wonderful idea that helps the community, especially the neighborhood around the Dream Center, to take food, to take meals to people who live nearby. We live in a very tough time. A lot of people having a tough time just to put food on their table, and the Dream Center is filling a need. I also strongly support the Oklahoma City Dream Center because of the rehabilitation programs. Those programs are about one thing: changing lives. A lot of people need help. A lot of people need rehabilitation. They need help in spiritual things. They need help in physical things. They need help in accessing services in the community. And they need help in getting into the workforce. Rehabilitation programs of the Dream Center, certainly it's about changed lives.
And I just want to thank Mr. Bob Burke for not only being there so generously every step of the way, but being one of the main supporters in this whole dream we've had. I think more than anything, you see the change that can happen with only a few dollars, with a few volunteer hours, with a few minutes of your time, just to be able to see the effects of what we can do as members of a community outreaching towards those in need. And I just want to thank you for attending tonight and being a supporter and helping make those dreams of the families and people in need around you come true, because that is what's happening tonight more than anything. It is a chance for people to not only just have that thought that, maybe I don't know if I'm going to get my next meal, or the Oklahoma weather is so bipolar. It's 50 degrees out right now, and some kids don't even have the clothing to be prepared for that. And we are there to provide that. We are there to hand them that coat. We are here to hand them that meal, to make sure that they know that somebody's not only looking out for them, but that we will be there and we will continuously be there for them. And I just can't thank you enough for attending this with me and Chase Parson. Would you have any closing words?
Hey, this night is always made possible with people like you, and even people like you just even sharing, making, spreading the word about what we do, and even sharing this event. And supporting us monthly, volunteering. We literally average like 30,000 volunteer hours a year. Is that our cap? By no means is it our cap. We could definitely use more volunteers and always more supporters, because literally it is people like you that help us achieve our dream every year to grow and grow and grow. And believe me, we don't have a ceiling. So just help us break anything that would look like a ceiling every single year, and we'll see what we can do to change Oklahoma City and make dreams come true.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Eddie Crace. I am a current board member of the Dream Center Incorporated, Oklahoma City, and I have been associated with the Dream Center for approximately 7 years. I love the programs that we have set up and take care of for the inner city youth here. We feed thousands of kids every year. We also have our Dream Center Living, which we help people that are transitioning from different aspects of their life back into society and helping them to get reacclaimed to everything that's going on. I really love the fact that we're reaching the inner city kids. It's a program that's dear to my heart, and these kids need Jesus. They need to be pointed in the right direction, and it's just a fantastic program, and we see them every day, day in, day out, through the summer, through school year. It's just wonderful. I continue to be associated with the Dream Center really for that reason. And it's a reason that we should, Christ said, raise our kids up. Let's raise them up. We need continued support. That's a reason I continue to support the Dream Center. And it's a reason, just plain simple, that you need to support the Dream Center. Help our kids, help our community, and thank you.
And right behind me, I have items generously donated by Mr. Bob Burke, ranging from hand signature from Baker Mayfield, Miranda Lambert, Willie Nelson, even original text from the Bible, the Latin version, and the King James. So make sure you go online, bid on some of these items, and make sure you snag yourself something nice and remember exactly what it's going towards. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Phil Freeman, and I'm the Associate Pastor at Noble Assembly of God in Noble, Oklahoma. I began helping with the ministries of the Dream Center back in 2002. I can't believe it's been 19 years. 4 churches I've been on staff with, and hundreds of volunteers that have come with me to do various amounts of tasks to help our community around us. Whether it's helping through a Christmas outreach, making sure that families have a photo with Santa and a gift to take and put under their tree, or whether it's coming and getting groceries to desperately fill an empty pantry, whether it's getting clothes just to be able to send their kids to school with something to wear. What I love about the Dream Center is that they meet the need right where it's at. And the reason why I continue after 19 years and for the years to come am committed to continue to help the Dream Center is because they meet the need right where it's at. And the need has never been greater. We need people to come alongside of us to help us to meet this need. And so I thank you for listening to me. I thank you for allowing me to talk. And I thank you so much for being able to serve the Dream Center.
Hey everyone, so I'm going to show you some of the other great auction items that we have right now. So, I mean, we've got some very great hand-picked items. So you've got Stan Lee, Nuff Said, it's actually signed right here by the famous Stan Lee. You've got a Toby Keith guitar. You've got a portrait of the Beatles with a copy of a concert ticket. I mean, you've got OU Heisman signed jerseys over here by several, not just one, but several OU Heisman winners. We've got helmets signed by all types of OU players, and also for graduated OU players, we've got Cleveland Browns' very own Baker Mayfield right here, sitting right next to a Walt Disney signed postcard with it all framed together just like this. I mean, these are some crazy items. We've got some first-time items that I've never actually seen things like that. We've got and also jewelry. We've got a lot of jewelry items. We've got different. We got the Rat Pack. We literally have the Rat Pack here. I mean, I'm just old enough to appreciate this. I know you guys will appreciate it too. Led Zeppelin. We've got Jason White, everybody in the house right here, signed jersey, and we've also got the Getty's address framed. Really nice presentation here with Abraham Lincoln, and then we've even got things like. Come here. Let me show you. A Jimmy Buffett special edition wine bottle with all of the special edition wine tools. All of these things are so great, and we've got experiences that take you from like a Glamour Queen night out or day out. We've got even the local Anthem Brewery beer tasting, and all these cool trips. You want to go to the Country Music Awards? You want to go to the American Music Awards? Do you want to go to a NASCAR driving experience? It's all right here. All right here. And it's also all online. So we want to thank you for participating tonight and grabbing some of these great items that are going to, all of them are going to help us make dreams come true and continue the vision and the mission of the Oklahoma City Dream Center.
All right. How's everybody doing? You are live with us at the Gala, a night of dreams. With me right now, I have Austin Stoner. Thank you so much for joining me. Absolutely. This is one of the examples of DC living, how it came into his life and helped give him that structure that Chase was talking about. And I just wanted to bring him on so you see what your generosity goes towards and how it betters those people that need it. Austin, how would you say that this DC living helped you in ways that you needed at the time?
For one, first and foremost, it's Christ-centered. I mean, all things are possible through Christ, and I'm a firm believer in that. Dream Center Living gave me structure. It showed me how to do things. I already know how not to do things. I went to prison for 7 years at 18 years old, making stupid decisions, drinking and driving, and had an accident, a very unfortunate accident, and my best friend passed away. Like I said, I was 18. I was going to go play college football, but I destroyed all that. And then I got out back in 2015. Like I said, 18 through, I went in at 21, I'm sorry. 21, got out at 28, so almost 7 years. And I just kept on falling back into those same patterns. I kept on drinking and just being an idiot, sticking needles in my arm, trying to mask that pain and running from God, basically. And then I found the Dream Center. It was a fluke thing. I found the Dream Center, and, you know, it hasn't been easy, but if you seek that conscious contact with God through Christ every day, you can change. You can do better, you can be better, and the Dream Center gives the tools that men need in order to do that.
Okay. And if you could tell the people watching right now one thing about why that generosity is so important and why it is needed, especially in these men that had messed up and they needed a restructuring of their life, what would you tell them?
I would tell them that, I mean, everything obviously is very, very greatly appreciated, but just like anything, it needs money to run. You know, there's the electric bill. I don't know how they do it sometimes. I really don't. It's just a blessing. I count it as a blessing, and the money is very much appreciated.
Well, and I had the pleasure of being able to hear your testimony in person at another event, and I got to tell you, you're somebody to look up to, and especially in how you describe, you know, you made those mistakes, but not only have you become a better man through them, you kept at it, and instead of giving up and, you know, falling back, you kept going on strong. And you're one great example of how to lead your life to better. And I can't thank you enough for coming in and talking to us and, you know, giving them an idea of what that money goes towards and how it helps the benefit of these men that need it so greatly. So thank you so much.
Absolutely.
And we'll be back on in a little bit with some other people. But again, thank you, Austin, and we'll be back shortly.
The Oklahoma City Dream Center exists to reach, rescue, and restore individuals that are isolated by poverty. We do not realize what isolation is until you don't have the means to get on the internet, or transportation, or a valid ID. Our food pantry has one major distribution every month, and that is right around 150 families come through and get food. We also have emergency food when needed. Our clothing closet is another way that we meet needs, and that is open once a week. Anyone can come and just shop and get clothes, coats, whatever they need. Dinner on Us is one I'm very excited about. It's one of our newest programs. It is where we have adopted the apartment complex right across the street. Every Wednesday night, we fix dinner, box it up, and take it to them. One of our programs that's very close to my heart is our Dream Center Living. It's a men's transitional housing. Men coming out of incarceration or rehab can come in, and it's just a step before they go back into society. We give layers of accountability. We help them make sober and wise decisions. At the Oklahoma City Dream Center, our hope is that everyone can dream again. I've never met a kid that wanted the dream to being homeless or an addict. So our at-risk programs help reach those kids before they lose their dreams. Our adult programs help people realize their dreams again, remember their dreams, and then achieve their dreams. The only way that we can do that is through donations. Generous people like you that catch this vision and then give. Thank you for everything that you do and for all that you give. You're helping make dreams come true.
Good evening, everyone. I just wanted to thank everyone for coming to the 2021 Night of Dreams. Whether you're watching virtually or you're here in person, thank you. Thank you, because one of two people are here. You either know about the Dream Center and you have a heart for it, or someone who does love the Dream Center brought you. So that's a win-win on our end. But I want to take the opportunity to thank all of our table sponsors. You helped make this happen. Also, our board. There's members of our boards here. If I could have them stand up, I would like to acknowledge them. Eddie Crace, Don Kretzinger, and David Clark. Let's give a hand. Tonight is going to be about making impossible dreams come true. And that is what we do every day at the Dream Center. There's another individual, and I don't see him, that needs to be recognized. And that would be the person who is responsible for tonight. He has put in a lot of hours. He has put in a lot of work. And he is my assistant director, Chase Parsons. And that's not him. So what I just said, you're probably going to hear again when I come back up, because I do want to recognize him, because he has put a lot of time and a lot of hard work in to make tonight happen. So if you will bow your heads with me, I am going to pray, and then we can start partaking in food. Dear Heavenly Father, Lord, I love you so much. What a beautiful day and night it is. We want to thank you, Lord, for all the blessings you have poured out upon us. We want to thank you for your continued blessings. But Lord, help us realize that tonight's not about us. It's about all the others that, Lord, are living in dire situations that just need hope, and they need to be able to dream again. Father, I ask that you bless the meal, and you, Lord, allow our conversations to glorify you in all we do. In Jesus' name we pray, amen. Go ahead and start digging in on your salads.
All right, hello. I want to introduce a real good friend of mine. I've been working with him for a couple months now. Terrific person, terrific human being, Corey Babcock. It's an honor to be here with you right now, sir. He is a lot of what I take from this church and how, or this organization and church, and what it means exactly how to help people. This is what really is the structure. He helps with the IT, the media. He's the reason that we get out the word as good as we do. And I just want to thank you for joining me right now.
Yeah, thank you. My pleasure.
Yeah. So, Corey, what does like a Night of Dreams mean to you? Specifically with how we provide things around our communities, what is one of the ways that you feel like we help achieve those dreams that are needed so much?
We've got endless programs, endless amounts of programs. The ability to be able to reach people and help people that are in need, it's just, you can't put a price on it, and there's so many people in Oklahoma City. We're such in a impoverished area that it's just so hard to make it sometimes. And this night and the gala helps us be able to make that happen for so many different families.
And I know you've been a part of this organization for a while now, and what's been one of your favorite ways that you have helped with these outreaches that you feel has done so good in your eyes that you always love doing it again and again?
For the past 2 years, I've been Santa at the Christmas in the Hood, and just being able to see kids light up and being able to see kids, it has nothing to do with Santa. It has everything to do with the fact that the little kids get to have a smile on their face and be able to get blessed whenever those kids don't have the ability to. Their parents may not have the money to buy them presents, or they even get a single present at all. And the Night of Dreams also helps, with that, and helps fund that, and just to make it happen for these little kids, bar none, that's the best.
Now, I have the statistics for this last Christmas that you guys gave away 777 gifts. And just in your eyes, do you think that's going to get bigger as the years come on?
Oh yeah, of course. You think of this, okay, that was during COVID as well. We gave away more gifts during a time where everybody's supposed to stay indoors and stay locked up. And we gave away more gifts that year, or this past year, than we ever have. And it's just, that's the best. That's the best. And I don't see anything but going up from here.
And that's always what we try to do. Those dreams that can't seem achievable in the moment, we always keep striving to make it happen. Corey, thank you for joining me right now.
Of course,
Again,
thank you.
Everything you do for this is just amazing.
Yeah, it's my pleasure.
Hey, thank you.
Thanks.
Check, 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 check. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. How's everybody doing tonight? Well, my goodness, that table is having a good time. I'm glad you are. I hope everybody else can have the same amount of enthusiasm very soon. My name is Barrett Bray. I'm with Bray Auctions. I am very, very proud, honored, and humbled to be the MC and the fundraiser for this night's event. I just wanted to make a couple of quick announcements. We do have the silent auction that is going on. It is an online-only silent auction. You should have received information and instructions whenever you checked in this evening to be able to access the silent auction items. If you do have any problems, I'm sitting directly to the left of the stage, your left. Come and find us so that we can make sure that we can help in any way possible. We want to make sure that everybody has the opportunity to bid on the wonderful, amazing packages that the Dream Center has put together for this evening's event. And we're going to be getting to know each other a little bit better all through the evening tonight. We do have the silent auction going on. It's going to be going until just about 8 o'clock this evening. So make sure that you're keeping an eye on your phones, tablets, watches, whatever you have that you're accessing everything on. And again, if you do have any technical difficulties, please be sure to come and find us so that we can help in any way possible. We're so happy to have you here at Night of Dreams 2021. I've had the honor and the pleasure of seeing this event grow from its inception, and we are so, so proud to be here as a part of it once again. We're going to throw it to a quick video so that you can learn some more about the Dream Center if you don't know about it presently, and we will be back throughout the evening. Thank you so much again for being here. Night of Dreams 2021.
My name is Earl Sabree, and I'm the Dean of Men at DC Living. But before the Dream Center, I was a wreck. I was lost, confused, hopeless. I was a lifelong meth addict, 30 years plus, and struggled in and out of God's will. I'm sitting on the edge of the bed with the gun in my mouth, and I'm seconds from pulling the trigger. I've done said my goodbyes, wrote the note, and I heard my mother singing Amazing Grace. And I couldn't do it. You know, there in that instance, I realized that there was hope. My mother had taught me about hope all my life, and the seed had been planted, and that's why I was tormented, because God had a plan for my life and a purpose, and it wasn't what I was living. And so I throwed the gun down. I didn't stop what I was doing. I got high that night. 12 o'clock the next afternoon, they served a search warrant and found a gun and an explosive device. So it became a federal case. But I knew right then that it was a surrender or die moment, you know? And God delivered me from that mindset. He delivered me from that life. I've not had not one craving, not one thought, one dream of that lifestyle or drugs since that day. 100% total deliverance. The first time I came to the Dream Center was in 2012, I believe. The end of 2012, beginning of 2013. And it was on a job. One of the board members called me up and wanted me to put a roof on the clothing closet and build some air conditioning anti-theft cages. And I started volunteering a little bit here and there, but I hadn't really gave up that lifestyle yet, you know? So I went to Teen Challenge, and I didn't complete that program. I got kicked out of there. And so the federal government, the USPO, gave me 3 days to find a sober living house. And the first thing that came up when I looked on the internet was DC Living, was Inner City Church. And it was just kind of a prompt that I knew. I had talked to several other sober living houses, and with the charge of an explosive device, nobody really wanted to have anything to do with me. But through God's plan, in previous people here knew me. I had a previous connection with them, you know, and I was welcomed with open arms. They promoted the change that took place here and nurtured that. And I developed a heart for the men, the community, the people here. And as it progressed, you know, some people transitioned out. One of them was the Dean of Men. And the Lord just laid it on my heart that would be a good position for me to further my skills in the plan of the future. This life is not about you. It's not about us. It's about helping those that have less than us. And this facility, if you're thinking about donating, this is the best way you can reach hundreds of people with a minute amount of money. This place has an outreach that is astronomical, not just in this neighborhood, but across neighborhoods, you know. And if you do donate already, then I thank you, because if you haven't taken the opportunity to come down on a Super Saturday and see where your money's going, or Dinners on Us, to actually see where your funds are helping people with food, with spirituality, with salvation, then I encourage you, come see. You know, there's a lot of people and a lot of churches, a lot of organizations that preach outreach, but this church, it's not talked about, it's done.
Oh, here, who's first?
It don't matter. But
We're live. Do I need to be facing somewhere?
Yes, that camera right there.
Hi. Sorry.
No, you're good. You can hold it. All right. So right now I have Trevor and Tasha Clark. These two are one of the power couples in the Dream Center. Right now we have one of the founders of Dream Center right back in 2002, one of the visionaries that saw an opportunity in Oklahoma and wanted to be able to reach those children, those men, the families in every way possible that they could, and a community resource leader in the organization itself. And I just wanted to bring them both out and hear. Let's start with you, Trevor. Why was the Dream Center something that you wanted to create back in 2002? What was the vision behind you that made it to where you felt like it needed to be made into action?
Well, in 2002, we were Inner City Church, and we were founded by Rob and Deb Burke. And Deb is our she's our director now. She's a pastor of Inner City. And her husband always wanted a Dream Center. Around 2007, Chase and my buddy Chance and we got together and decided it was time to have a Dream Center. And matching with the vision of Inner City Church, Dream Center came alongside, and Chase has actually ran with the reins of it. I stepped away for a bit, and Chase has now flourished. The Dream Center always had the same vision as Inner City Church, and that is to reach, rescue, and restore those who find themselves in poverty, and so those who find themselves in a place where they need help. Whether it's food, whether it's jobs, whether it's a place to stay and get sober, Dream Center exists to help people, and it always has. And that's why God continues to bless it, and that's what the beginning is. And the day we stop helping people is the day we just need to close the doors. So that's just really it is.
And going on, just tell exactly what you do for the Dream Center and how you help reach the families and the community around you and make these dreams possible.
So I am the director of the Community Resource Center, and I am the first point of, if anyone walks in the door, I'm the person you're going to see if you're looking for an outreach. So I am over the clothing closet, the food pantry, right now our outreach is the Dinner on Us outreach, children's ministries that have been kind of shut down because of COVID, but still over that. So anything that has to do with any outreach that we do, that's what I'm over.
And I think it's really interesting that you didn't just tackle one aspect of the walk of life. You didn't just say you do the children. You didn't just say you did the men, but you said you have the children, you have the outreaches for food, and you have the clothing. And out of all those, you hit every need in the apartment complexes near us and the families near us, and to help benefit the communities just around us. Out of your guys' all these outreaches, I know there's so many, but what would you guys say has been your personal favorite?
Actually, I want to say one of the aspects of our outreach is actually the favorite. I like how Dream Center ministers to everybody. We from the rich to the poor, no matter what color you are, socioeconomic background, education level. One cool thing about Dream Center is that everybody's not only welcome, but everybody can get help, and everybody can know the Lord. Everybody can have a miracle. Everybody can be blessed, and everybody can be also part of the team. Our volunteers are anywhere from millionaires all the way down to homeless people. So anyone can volunteer and serve, but also anybody can receive. And that's one of the beautiful things about Dream Center is it's a diverse living organism that never quits, and it's open 24/7 for the community. And that's why I say it's one of the aspects of our ministry is what I like best, is because it's the aspect of diversity and 24/7 ministry lived out. And it's a ministry that doesn't stop and doesn't quit. And it's not going to. Yeah. Not anytime soon.
And then...
Hope that answered your question.
Would you like to continue on with that?
I'm just going to agree. One thing that we try to focus on is what is the need for our community right now. So it's ever-changing. It's something that... if this is the need right now, let's see how we can meet it. If this is no longer a need, let's see what the next need is. We really try to look into our community and see what do they need right now. And I mean, I would 100% agree with what Trevor said. So.
And my last question for you all is, like I said in the very beginning, you guys are a power couple. I feel like you guys, anything you guys do, you put your mind to it, and you guys have been able to make that achievable. I mean, our clothing closets have helped hundreds of families get some of the clothing that they needed, especially when you think about Oklahoma. I mean, we are just in 80-degree weather the other day, and now we're down to 50. And you think about the families that need just some clothing that can help provide that warmth in these times. What is a mission that you guys would love to start in the future with some of these ever-changing aspects, like you said? Is there another route that you guys would like to go into eventually that would help spread even more help towards the communities around?
Sure. Yeah, I actually personally just started a nonprofit called 414, and it's going to be kind of my own individual endeavor, but it's also going to be partnering with Dream Center for a lot of things. One of the things I'm personally wanting to do is I want to help these guys in our sober living facility. I want to start helping them at a whole nother level, whether it's counseling, whether it's job placement. I would love to help the guys in the sober living facility not only get sober and find the Lord and find themselves again, but I want to also help them through finding counselors that can help counsel them so that marriages are restored, restore dads back to their homes, and to help them find jobs so that not only can they go back to their home, but now they can become a provider for their home. And there's already touching on this. This is not a new idea by no means, but what I want to do is I want to come in and kind of just personally, I want to help influx that ministry and help it develop a little more, and also to help we also as an organization, I feel, have a lot to do with other organizations that already come and support us. I would love to start seeing our people on other campuses doing stuff too. Summit Church or Crossroads or Life Church. It'd be great to take our people and start saying, you know, these people have served you. Now let's return and let's go serve them too. And I think that's Christianity in a general. Is that's how we do it as Christians. It's we're a team and we're a family. Sometimes my back needs scratched, and that's great when it happens, but what about the day when I can scratch yours?
Yeah.
So.
Definitely.
I personally have seen just a change in our atmosphere where we are, and homelessness. So homelessness is something that I've seen a lot of. We get a lot more homeless people in our doors lately, possibly due to COVID. And I would love to see what we can do more with homelessness. We've definitely started implementing more clothing, more food that are homeless friendly, if that makes sense. Blankets, tents, different kind of clothing that they prefer to wear. So for me personally, I definitely am starting to lean a little more towards homelessness and what we can do as a facility to help.
Okay. And then I just want to give you guys a little closer to end with. I know I said last question last time, I'm sorry, but you know, for the people that are watching right now and they're wanting to bid, but they're a little hesitant, or they're wanting to donate and they're trying to figure out if it's going to be towards something that's actually beneficial, what would you tell them as like just that, you know, that guarantee that what they're doing is going to be helping those around them?
Well, that's actually the beautiful thing about Dream Center is we're good soil. And I can say it with confidence because, I mean, like I said, I've been here since 2002, and inner city and Dream Center is good soil. Mark 4:14 says, a farmer sows a seed. A farmer who doesn't expect a crop without sowing a seed. And we need people like you to help us sow seeds in our community so that we can see a future harvest of souls. We can see a future harvest of business owners, of future doctors. We can help children with education. We can help fathers get restored to their families. The seeds you sowed tonight could very well be, you may not ever see the fruit till you get to heaven, but trust me, this is good soil and it will return good fruit. There will be a day when you will know what you do, when every single seed you sow tonight is is appreciated, and we are grateful for it. We survive on donations. We survive on family like you helping us in our cause. And just know that every cent given goes to ministry. Our food outreach, we served 150 families a month. We have men who live on our facility, and they don't always have money to pay for everything. We have after-school programs when they're going on, and all these things need funds. The facility, the lights, the water bill, everything needs money. And it all goes to those things. There's nobody living in lavish houses or driving lavish cars. It doesn't go toward the bottom line, towards people. It goes to ministry, and it goes to life, and it goes to sow seeds in the kingdom. And that's what we're here for tonight, to sow more seeds.
Amen. Hey, would you like to continue off of that?
I mean, just reiterating what he says, I'm sorry, but everything we do solely depends on sponsors and people who give, and everything, every ministry, everything we do. If we don't have people that give or sponsors, it's not possible. Obviously, God provides 100% all the time, but we need families and people like you for our ministries to thrive the way they are, and for us to continue to reach and to make more dreams come true.
And I just want to end with this. I want to thank you both personally. You know, through the hard times of COVID, through the weather, through the ice, through the storms, you guys were there to provide families with that comfort and stress relief. And I know a lot of them may not know you by name, but by your deeds alone, you guys have done so much for this community. And I know I speak for many others when I say just thank you both for the time and dedication you put in providing that structure and putting God and putting these people first. So thank you so much for joining me. It was a pleasure having you.
Hey, thanks, sir.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I hope everyone's enjoying their meal. You know, as I look out, I know most of the faces, but there are some that I do not know. And I want to just start to say, you might not know what the Dream Center is, but I hope by the time you leave tonight, you will have a clear understanding of what the Dream Center. We don't sell mattresses, we don't do sleep studies, but we are in the market of helping people realize their dreams and achieve their dreams. The Oklahoma City Dream Center exists to reach, rescue, and restore those isolated by poverty. Can you imagine being helpless, being isolated, and not having any resources? There might be resources out there, but you don't know about them. You don't know how to get to them or use them. You don't have the internet. You don't have a way to break the cycle of poverty, even though you might want to. You don't know how. We hope, and really our objective is to connect and mentor individuals one-on-one, meet them where they're at, and help them be productive. Help them turn around and be members of society that can start dreaming again and start reaching those dreams. If you know about the Dream Center, what I'm going to tell you, a little bit of the history, you already know. But for those that don't, my husband and I were youth pastors when we got a call from Oklahoma City. There was a small children's ministry going on, Inner City Church, and they were in the need of a new pastor. We came in 2002 to be the pastors of Inner City Church and continued that children's ministry for about a year. You know, we bussed these kids in, gave them a lot of candy, gave them hope in Jesus, and sent them back home. But we realized that there's adults out there that are needing to be mentored. There's adults out there also, and if we can touch the adults, that's also touching the kids. That's helping their situations at home too. So we started adult services on Father's Day of 2003. We would see a basic need, and we did our best to meet it. If someone was hungry, we started a food pantry. It wasn't much, but it did the job. They needed coats. We started a clothing closet. After-school programs. Super Saturday kind of morphed into an after-school program because that's where the need was, to meet the basic needs. Things grew steadily. We saw each one of these programs, these ministries, grow. But then two major events in my life happened in 2006 that impacted the course of my life, the course of Inner City Church, and the Dream Center. The beginning of 2006, we were outgrowing the facility we're in. Their Grace Assembly of God, a 70,000 square foot facility, had opened up, and they were going to sell it. Hobby Lobby heard about this, they knew about our ministry, and they went in and purchased the property and gifted it to us. So plans were being made to move in. We were excited, all this area, what all we could do, what needs we could meet. I mean, it was just an exciting time. Then at Thanksgiving of 2006, day before Thanksgiving, my husband was diagnosed with a glioblastoma stage 4 brain tumor. From the Wednesday before Thanksgiving, 2 surgeries, 8 days, he went on to be with the Lord, 35 years old. When my in-laws and I went to tell my kids, then 7 and 5, that Daddy went on to be with Jesus, my oldest one stood up and said, "But Mama, what about the people of Inner City? Who's going to take care of them?" I wasn't worried about that right then, but that stirred in my heart. That we were there, we both had that calling, we both felt the desire, we both knew the need to meet. And because Robert had been called on didn't mean that I was released from that. So I took the action that needed to be taken to become ordained and became the senior pastor of Inner City Church. We made that move into our new facility. And it wasn't too long to where there was 3 young whippersnappers that God had placed on their heart the burden for the people of Inner City. They had went to the LA Dream Center, and they had saw it, and they knew that Oklahoma City needed a Dream Center. So they came back and they started it. That was Trevor Clark, who had volunteered for Inner City forever, Chase Parsons, and Chance Dennett. Well, we had all this room. We had just moved in. They needed office space. It was given to me, so yes, office. Perfect. And as we worked together, we realized that our vision's the same. We want to help people. We want to meet basic needs, but we want to mentor people to help them get out of that cycle. So as we worked hand in hand and we volunteered for each other and everything, I call it a marriage. We're two separate 501c3s, but there's a marriage that takes place because we're all after the same goal. So, I would say the difference between the ministries back in 2006 and now, they've been given steroids because they are going strong. Our food pantry, we've adapted it to the pandemic. That didn't stop us. It's a drive-through food pantry now. Tasha Clark heads it up. Amazing lady. But we see the needs, we find them, and we meet them. It's that simple. It's that simple. It doesn't, not real elaborate. One of the ways that we approach meeting the needs is we realize that at-risk kids need someplace to go in the afternoon because they're getting in trouble. So we have our Nourish program. We have a wrestling program that we run. We have back-to-school bashes and our school supplies, uniforms, and then Christmas in the Hood. It's our big Christmas outreach to where if we could catch a kid before they lose their dream, that's a win. Because somewhere in high school, reality sets in and they lose their dreams. They drop out. They take the wrong path. So we want to catch them right before they lose their dream. Another way is, like I said, meeting basic needs through our clothing closet, food pantry, Adopt a Block, our Community Resource Center. Our Community Resource Center is vital because it connects people with the outside world, those that are isolated. They don't have internet. Do you know you cannot apply at Walmart without the internet? Or on computer. They want it all on computer. Sonic. Now, some of the managers do take paper applications, but so much is done, and we take it for granted. That if you don't have internet, if you don't have a computer, if you don't have a phone that has that kind of capability, look how isolated you are to even know that the resources are out there. So our Community Resource Center connects them. And then our Dream Center Living, which is one of our newest. It's a men's transitional housing. So it's men coming out of incarceration or out of rehab. They need that extra step. They need kind of some accountability before they get into the normal society. A lot of these young men have never made sober decisions, and they just need a little bit of mentoring. And that's where we like to come along and just help them through that, help them achieve their dreams. Meeting the needs. We exist for that. That's what the Dream Center is all about, is to make those impossible dreams become reality. That you don't have to think that's for the birds or that's too far out of our reach. That you can dream big. Tonight, I have the privilege of introducing our special speaker. Chad Alexander is a celebrated Oklahoma conservative talk show host. Beginning his career in politics in 1994 as part of the J.C. Watts Jr. campaign, he served as the deputy campaign manager. In 2001, he was just 27 years old when he made history of being the youngest elected state chairman of the Republican Party. After serving as the state chairman, Chad established his own political consulting and lobbying company. He served on 2 presidential campaigns, congressional campaigns, and consulted on numerous campaigns. Chad is a member of the leadership of Oklahoma Class 25 and the OCCC Alumni Hall of Fame. He has served on numerous boards, including the Oklahoma Institute for Child Advocacy and the OKC Metro Alliance. Chad hosts the Chad Alexander Show on KOKC Radio, Monday through Friday, 4 to 6. Check it out. But above all, his greatest, most admirable accomplishment is being a husband and a father. Put your hands together and let's welcome Mr. Chad Alexander.
Thank you very much. That's very kind. And I would like to say I'm very honored and humbled to be here tonight. You know, I've given speeches and keynoted for a lot of not-for-profits, the RISE program, which helps incarcerated women get their cosmetology degrees before they really get out of incarceration, so they have jobs and finances to reduce recidivism. We talk about Dragonfly, human trafficking, both sex trafficking, labor trafficking, and several others that I've been involved with over the years and have done events for. And when I was asked to do this, I went down and met with Chase at the Dream Center, and we spent about an hour and a half together. And what was clear was the passion that he had for what we were doing and what's going on there. And I'm just very, very honored that they asked me to keynote this event tonight, and I look forward to sharing some of my thoughts with you on what I think is going on right now that needs to be paid attention to in our community. And we've seen testimonies and we've heard of what the Dream Center does and why it's important, but I want to put it in some real world terms of what I see. As a radio host, I talk to different people every day, and I see different situations every day. And I have a passion for this community, and I can tell you that the not-for-profits in Oklahoma City are doing so much on a daily basis, because the children aren't just our future, they're now. Every life counts, and this will be the least partisan speech I've ever given. Because if someone is hungry, I don't care their political affiliation. I do not care about their faith. I do not care about their skin color. I care about the fact that they have a need. They are in a situation, there are circumstances there. And I'll get to this later because circumstances can change. I am so impressed with what happens, and I'm going to pull a few stats just off the top of my head, but there's a recent survey that just came out, and it examined the media across the world. And in most Western European countries that were equivalent to the United States, the news media was about 50-50 positive, negative. In the United States, it's about 90 to 92% negative. So first, let's talk about community involvement and what it's not. And I want to be clear about what it's not. Community involvement is not arguing on social media, because it seems to be a hobby for some people that at this point in time, if anything is frustrating them in their lives, that is an outlet behind a keyboard at home that's not face-to-face, that they would never say to someone's face, but on the computer they take that out. Going to public meetings where there's elected officials or people that are appointed, that are citizens on oversight committees, that are volunteering their time to do their jobs and screaming at them about how they're not doing it right, it's not community involvement. Do you know what community involvement is? It's making donations to places like the Dream Center. It's taking extra food out of your house and taking it for a food pantry. You know, there's an interesting statistic from about 10 years ago that 9 out of 10 men on death row did not have a male role model. No father figure and no positive role model in their life. Every one of them, when they were interviewed, mentioned their mothers. A man's name was never used, interviewing over 12 different men on death row. So maybe some of these young people don't have fathers, but that doesn't mean you can't be a mentor. I remember when I was on the board of the Oklahoma City Metro Alliance, going out to the men's facility and working with a man in his 30s who had gotten out of prison, teaching him 5th grade math. I think most of us in here could teach someone how to do 5th grade math. So even if you don't have money, you do have time. So that is civic engagement. If you have the opportunity, and I'm blessed to have one, of having a radio show and a voice in my community and influence with leaders, stand up and speak for those who can't stand up and speak for themselves. See, everybody views the world through a lens. It's the lens that you see it from life experiences. Well, if you grow up in a neighborhood and the only one that drives a Corvette or a Mercedes or a Lamborghini isn't a lawyer or an engineer or a doctor, they're the dealer that controls that 3-block area. That's the only one you've ever seen with that kind of wealth. In 1988, Pablo Escobar took in more money than General Motors, $13.5 billion in profits. I imagine the young people in Colombia thought he was successful. We all have a responsibility to our community because it's our neighbors and we are all intertwined. I don't have a choice because of my faith. God told me to love my neighbor. Do you know there's no exclusions on that? There's no parentheses at the end that says, except. I'm commanded to love my neighbor, regardless of their faith, their race, their belief. My job is to love my neighbor unconditionally and try to help them because we are all one community. And I have seen something evolve in my time in politics. And there is a substantial portion of the public that has started to see the government as a deity, the answer to all. Well, from the New Deal with Franklin Roosevelt to the Great Society with Lyndon Johnson, we certainly haven't eliminated poverty. Through the drug war we started under Richard Nixon, which first his advisors admit. If you've ever seen the 13th on Netflix, his own advisors admit they wanted to make felons out of people using drugs to lower the number of minorities that were on the voting rolls. I'm a Republican telling you that is what the advisors to Richard Nixon were trying to do, not send them all to prison. Under Reagan, that escalated. Then he really did. We started putting mass incarceration on people. Bill Clinton, 3 strikes you're out. Very nonpartisan. We've had a lot of people screw up in both parties. I find it ironic when we today talk about courtrooms and the Attorney General of Oklahoma is suing these companies for saying that these drugs were not addictive, that the people who died are victims. But the people who get arrested, they got addicted to those same drugs from their doctors. They were being told they weren't addictive. Well, we arrest them and then we put a stigma on that. See, addiction doesn't know any boundaries. Not financial, not race, or anything else. Because Elvis Presley had all the money and the fame in the world. But that's how he died. Prince had all the money and the fame in the world, and that's how he died. Tom Petty, same story. And when someone dies that is a public figure of a drug overdose, the media will focus on the greatest accomplishments of their life. But if a public figure gets arrested because they're a drug addict, the media will talk about their fall from grace and how they've disappointed so many people and kicked them while they're there. Ben Affleck had went to rehab for alcoholism. He was sober for a number of years. He relapsed, checked himself back into rehab, felt like he had lost his relationship with his children. Those stories about Ben Affleck weren't all that popular. They weren't all positive at all. Now, if he'd have died, we would have been talking about the greatest movies he ever made. So I say that to say this. I'll never forget a morning of February 2006. My dad called me to tell me that my brother was dead. He had broken his tailbone at a restaurant that had mopped the floor, and he was prescribed pretty strong pain medication. His regular doctor had him under an anxiety medication. What a lot of people don't know is if you take too much of both those together, it is a perfect death cocktail. The anxiety medication sedates you, and then your respiratory function goes down from the painkillers. And I remember driving, he was 9 years older than myself. I remember driving from my office at 9:05 in the morning to his house, where I laid down in my bed with my brother for the last time. And I kissed him and hugged him. I know he had dealt with issues in his life, but I don't know what his void was. I don't know what Ellis's void was. I don't know what the void is for people with addictions. There are a lot of people, they take pain pills, they make them feel nauseous, they don't like them, they don't even want to take another one. Congratulations, you hit the DNA lottery. There are other people, they get their first prescription of a pain pill from a doctor or a dentist, and they take it, and it's the best they've ever felt in their life. And who doesn't like feeling good? So when it's time for that other pill, they want to, because they want to keep feeling good, because they have a void in their life. My job is to love my neighbor, not judge my neighbor. My job is to help my neighbor, not condemn my neighbor. And I will say it again, there is no exception to that clause. Circumstances, and like I said, circumstances change. When people are hungry, they need to be fed. Do you know the crime rates during the Great Depression? What poverty leads to? I thought a lot today about what I was going to say. Probably more than I have for any non-for-profit that I've ever spoke to. A lot of that's the passion that Chase had and stories that we exchanged, or personal stories from my life and experiences, or me remembering eulogizing my brother and burying him on Valentine's Day of 2006. I'll remember that every Valentine's Day because my heart's always broken, because I loved him very much. Doing radio has helped me a lot. Educating people, I feel a lot of people think of people with addiction issues as people that are living homeless under bridges. The fact is, in Oklahoma, the average boy takes his first drink of alcohol at 11 years of age. The average female takes their first drink of alcohol at 12 years of age. 1 out of 4 or 1 out of 3 Oklahomans, depending on which survey you look at, has an addiction problem. So when you're walking through your neighborhood and walking your dog at night, just remember about 1 out of every 3 houses you pass, there's probably somebody with an addiction problem there that you just don't know about. Because addiction knows no bounds, no race, no economic status. It's just someone trying to fill their voids. And voids are very different from person to person. We talk about ACEs, early childhood experiences, adverse experiences. And from this simple test in Oklahoma, working through the Institute of Child Advocacy, the scores on that test can tell you the times greater magnitude of possibly being incarcerated, drug addiction, suicide attempts, overdoses. Lord, look what we've seen in the last year with calls for suicide hotlines. COVID shut down the world, and the number of people that started drinking at 11 and 12 during the day because they are working at home. We are social creatures. We're not just supposed to be sitting by ourselves all the time. Suicide calls went through the roof. The CDC came out in November and said 1/4, 25% of teenagers had contemplated suicide in the last 30 days because they had lost contact with their friends. They were not playing the sports, they did not have their camaraderie, and they had lost their purpose, and they felt withdrawn from the world. I am so glad to be off of Zoom and looking at you people face to face tonight. The silver linings at the end of the tunnel. It was a bad year for a lot of people. And it really is my pleasure to share these things with you. I talk about circumstances changing and the government not being a deity. The actions that we all take every day as a community to try to help each other, to make our city better, to make our state better, regardless of your party, your political affiliation, or anything else. Guys, sinking, swimming together. We have to work together and come together and support causes that we all know help people. And look how much this organization is helping people, because I don't care if you're 6 or 16 or 60, you need to keep dreaming. You have more potential. Comparison can be the thief of joy, but comparison can also show you how situations do change. In 1994, I was hired by J.C. Watts when I was 20 years old to be his field director. I ultimately sold as deputy campaign manager and campaign manager. So in 1995, I was 22 years old, and I was making about $65,000 a year. And I'm saying this for a reason. I'm not patting myself on the back. I saw a picture and a story not long ago of a guy in 1995. He's 2 years older than me. He was working on the inside passenger door of his vehicle because he did not have the money to take it to the shop. At that exact same time, I was 22 and an equivalent inflation dollars, making about $100,000 a year. Seems like I'm winning, right? Well, I think you've heard of him. His name's Elon Musk. He's the second richest man in the world right now, and he will end up being the richest man in the world. Last Saturday night, my beautiful wife and my stepdaughter were in Kansas City, Missouri for a volleyball tournament. At 10:49 p.m. a week ago tonight, I took my son, who's a freshman in college, and my 12-year-old daughter out to our backyard to watch the stream of lights where Elon Musk was setting up a rocket with 36 satellites, and we could see him going up into space because he is building a worldwide internet network to connect all communities so everyone has access to the internet. In 1995, he could not afford to take his car to the shop to get his passenger door worked on. Elon Musk had big dreams. I would like to tell you another story. In the early 1940s, Yuba, Oklahoma, one of the poorest communities in the state of Oklahoma, just over the border of Bonham, Texas. There was a woman that had a little girl, she was 2.5 years old, married. She was pregnant. When she was 7 months pregnant, her husband died. His appendix burst. That little boy was born. When he was 3, his last memory was her beating him and his sister before she left for California. He was abandoned as an orphan, poorest community in Oklahoma. Started hauling hay at 8. If anybody knows how much a hay bale weighs, at 8, that's a lot of work. That's a lot of work at 28. He became a bouncer in the Paradise Club in Durant, Oklahoma at 15. He wasn't old enough to get in, but he was strong enough to get people out. He saved enough money, was salutatorian of his class, to buy a car. He drove to Norman, Oklahoma. He became a very successful commercial real estate broker. I'll never forget that story because that was my father. I'm one generation removed from an orphan from the poorest community in Oklahoma. Circumstances change, but they have to have dreams to change. That's why I am so impressed with the work you do. Me and my family are personally donating to the Dream Center because I don't ask anybody to do something I'm not willing to do. We had Chase on yesterday. I had him come on my radio show to talk about the silent auction and how people could bid so we could raise money. My audience is very civic-minded. They're very, very generous, and they've been very, very good to the Oklahoma Institute for Child Advocacy, Fosters Program, the RISE program, and I really wanted to promote this program to you. So I don't know the voids that some of those people that have those problems had and why they had them. But I can tell you a story of someone who is very successful, had always been very, very successful, and developed a drug addiction to painkillers. And in 2014, it became a really big deal. I still remember seeing a story on the news that they had everything, including a drug problem. A self-made millionaire at 40 years old. This was 7 years ago. 2015, he made a total of $6,000 that year. Circumstances change. He kept putting one foot ahead of the other. Even though there's this voice that kept saying, your life is over. Your life is over. Your life, you know it's over. But he kept putting one foot ahead of the other. He kept believing that his God and his dreams were bigger than his circumstance. 7 years later, he's built his business back to where it was, and I know it for a fact because it's the person talking to you right now, and whether you were tricked into it or not, you paid to hear me keynote this speech. Because circumstances can change. God's just not with you on the top of the mountain. More importantly, he's with you in the bottom of the valleys. You are only, whether you're 6, 16, or 60, you are only limited by the size of your dreams and the faith of your God. And if you believe he's big enough and you believe your dreams are big enough, you can accomplish anything, because there's a guy that couldn't even pay to have his car repaired in 1995 as the second richest man in the world because he dreamed big. I'm 1 month away from being 7 years clean. May 13th. So if anyone is battling things like this, has battled things like this, been through a program, know people that are battling things like this, don't worry about the stigma. I'll take the stigma for you. I do 2 hours of radio a week. I do corporate work. I do lobby and government relations work. And I obviously do public speaking. So you just let me take the stigma. You keep believing in your dreams, and you keep believing that your God's big enough and that he's with you all the time, even in the deepest of the valleys. Thank you all for listening to me. I hope you enjoyed this, and I hope it gave you some feeling of why I'm so passionate about what the Dream Center is doing. From helping children, to feeding the hungry, to help people face their biggest demons and have a productive life and fill that void. Because, see, I don't know what everybody else's void was, and it took me a while to figure out what mine was. There are a lot of things in that bio. There are a lot of awards I've won that weren't mentioned in there. A lot of accomplishments I had that weren't mentioned in there. But I figured out eventually what my void was. Of course I wanted to be successful. People want to be successful. Politics is a pretty competitive world, to say the least. It's a pretty combative world. Not everybody's always exactly honest with you. You might get stabbed in the back for some of the time. Yeah, dog eat dog kind of business. But see, there was always still that little boy from Washington, Oklahoma, population 700, that felt like he had to prove something. So I wanted to be successful for me. But that void and a lot of those awards, those accomplishments, they were for you, for people I didn't even know. Because I had to prove to that little boy from Washington, Oklahoma, population 700, that I was good enough to be doing all the things I was doing. I was doing those things more to impress other people than even my own success. And now I have my new dream. And my new dream is part of what I've been doing in the last 5 years of doing radio. Having civil dialogues and conversations and getting people involved with organizations like this that are in our community trying to make the world a better place. Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so very much, Chad. I know that was an emotional address to all of us. And it kind of showed us of why we're here tonight overall and what we are here to achieve. So, before we jump into anything else this evening, I'm going to say that the online-only auction has been extended until 8:30. Is that correct? So if you are interested in any of the online items through the app or through the web address that you received whenever you came in here, you can still go through on theirs. It will start ending at 8:30 this evening, and it will continue on, or individual items will continue on until people stop bidding on that overall. Now, we also have a 50-50 raffle tonight. Who all has bought a raffle ticket here this evening? Anybody? Oh, my goodness. Well, not nearly enough. I've got some people right here in the back that have some raffle tickets. It's a 50-50 raffle. For every single ticket that goes in, it's $10 going into the pot. And for the winning ticket that comes out, you're going to win 50%. Oh, it's 5? Well, I was told 10. That's a better deal. They could get 2 for 10 then. That's a wonderful, wonderful chance right there. So the tickets are right here available. Raise your hand in the air. If your ticket is drawn, then you are going to win 50% of the total amount of money that was drawn into the raffle, 100%. And the rest of that 50% that is left over is going to go straight to the Dream Center of Oklahoma City. Anybody want a ticket? We want to make sure that we get all those sold because we're going to be closing out here very, very shortly. Raise your hand straight up in the air if you would like to have one of those tickets. I got someone right here to my right, all the way down at the front. Raise your hand up. I'm watching right here on stage. Who else would like to buy a raffle ticket before we close it out for the evening? I got someone at the far back on my left as well. We got someone right up at the front. We got someone far at the back left. Anybody else? We'll point them in your direction. All right. I think we got you. They're going to be heading your way here very, very shortly. I'm going to go ahead and take my opportunity to kick off the live auction portion of the program this evening. Again, my name is Barrett Bray with Bray Auctions. I will tell you that it is my great, great honor of being here since the inception of the Night of Dreams, and we are so, so happy to be back and to see how this has grown overall, and we're so happy that everybody over the last year has made the decision to come out and join us in person. So we've got 3 quality auction items that we are going to be selling live in addition to all of the online items that we have available this evening. Who got to see Zonley Lumen painting the live painting out next to the band this evening? Anybody see Zonley out there? Well, I'm going to tell you right now, Zonley is a good friend of mine, and let me tell you a little bit about him. Zonley Lumen is one of Oklahoma's, if not the most popular Oklahoman artist who is up and coming. He's known for his pop expressionism style. He's the owner of Studio Z in Edmond, Oklahoma, an Oklahoman himself. And I am so happy to see Zonley here tonight. Zonley, thank you for being here. Would it be okay if I asked you to say a little bit about the painting that you put together? You saw this right here painted right in front of everybody tonight, a live painting done right here specifically for the Dream Center. Zonley, tell us a little bit about this.
Hey, I just first off want to say thank you for having me back. You know, this is about the 4th year that we've been able to be here and help the Dream Center, so that's a blessing right there. The reason why I paint the buffalo is because in the native culture, it's one of the most sacred animals. It represents peace, abundance, and new life to come, but it's also supposed to be a warning for us to reflect on our prayer life, give thanks for what we have. We live in a fast world, and sometimes we forget that if we have a roof over our head, we have shoes on our feet and food on our plate to eat, that we're blessed. So please remember, when you see the buffalo, whether you wear it on your shirt or you see it driving down Broadway Extension all over the wall, remember that we're blessed.
Wonderful. Absolutely. Zonley, I want you to stay right here. Here's Zonley's dad right here showing everything off. Guys, this is a one-of-one specifically for the Dream Center painted right in front of you, and we're going to sell it right now. I think my record of selling one of your paintings is around between $5,000 and $6,000, somewhere around there. I know that they've done much, much more than that. We'll see if we can break that this evening as well. All right, right here on the Zonley Lumen Original, straight for the Dream Center. Who'd start me out at $2,500? And I bet it is $5 and $25. Would he get $2,500? Where would he get $2,500? And would he give a $1,000 bid? First hand up, and it gets in. And I bet it a $1,000. Would he get $500? Where? And I bet it a $500, and now $7.5. And I bet it a $1,000. Now $1,250, and $1,250. Now $1,500. And I bet it a $12.5. And I want $15. 12 and a half there, and I want $1,500, and I bid it at 12 and a half, and I want a $1,500 bid. 12 and a half, and I want $50, but you get $1,500, and I bid it at 12 and a half, and I want $1,500. 12 and a half, and I bid it at 50, but you get $1,500. I got $1,250 over there. You're thinking about it. Take Zonley's recommendation. It's about prayer, the buffalo is. So pray about it as well. $1,500, and I bid it at 12 and a half, and we get $1,500. 12 and a half, and I bid it at 50, but you get $1,500, and I bid it at 12 and a half, and you get $15. You're thinking $1,300. 12 and a half, and a month, it's all for the Dream Center. $1,400, and I bid it at 30, but you get $14. 13 and a month, but you get $1,400. 13 and a month, but you get $1,400. Thank you. Now $1,500 bid, and I bid it at 40, but you get $1,500. 14 and a month, but you get $1,500. $1,400 there. $1,500. One more time. Anybody else? $1,400 and now, but you get $1,500. 14 and a month, $1,500. Hold on one second. All right, sir. I just talked to Zonley. He said if you would make a $1,500 bid on this painting, he'll do a second one right over there if you would match it as well, and we can sell two for $1,500 a piece, and all of that is going to be going into the Dream Center. Would you say yes at $1,500? Would you say yes at $1,500? Sold! 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 $1,500 a piece. What is your bidder number right here? What's your name? Sean? What's your last name, Sean? Sean Miller. And do you have the bidder number? You got it right there, Haley? You got it taken care of? Wonderful. Congratulations to you. Congratulations to you. Thank you so very much. We're seeing money going towards to lives being changed. Now we got auction item number 2 coming up, and this is probably my favorite auction item for the evening. Now what I've told you, no, stay right here for just one second. What I've told you is that Zonley is the premier upcoming pop expressionism artist in Oklahoma. What I have not told you is that Zonley is also, I wanted to say in my opinion, but that kind of diminishes it, in many, many people's opinions, and generally respected as the top tattoo artist in the Oklahoma City metro and they run all of their tattoos right there out of Studio Z here in Edmond, Oklahoma. Auction item number 2 is going to be a value of a $2,000 consultation and tattoo performance by Zonley Lumen right there at Studio Z. Is that correct? A $2,000 value of what you typically put together on things. Ladies and gentlemen, if you have not looked at the Dream Center's website, if you had never looked at Studio Z or Zonley's personal work, I would urge you desperately to pull it up on your phone right now, because if you or anybody that you love is in any way interested in a tattoo, you will never find a better artist than this gentleman right here on the stage. Do you want to say anything more about that? Did I do an okay job? Okay, good. All right. I'm so happy about that. So here's the Zonley Lumen tattoo experience right now. We're going to start it out. Who'd start me out at $2,000 where? And a bit of a get $2,000 and a bit of a two. Who give $1,000 bid? And a bit of $1,000 and a bit of a $250, $500, 2.5 to 1, 5 and you get 555 and a bit of a 2.5 and you get $500, 2.5 to 1, 5 and you get $500 where? And a bit of a $250. Who'd give $500 on an over $2,000 value? Who give $500 and a bid at $500, $300 now 4 and a bid at 3 and a 1 4, 3 now $400 where and a bid at 3 and a bid at $400 and now 5 and a bid at 4 $500, 400 and now 5 and you get 555 and a bid at 4 but you give a $500 bid, 4 and a 1 5 and you get 555 and a bid at 4 but you give a $500 where 4 now $500 and a bid at 4 now 5 and you get 555 and a bid at 4 but you get $500. Who give $450? Ladies and gentlemen, don't take Exodus into account. We're way past that. That's not what it was talking about. Tattoos are wonderful, and they're a great way to express your faith and anything that you love overall. And I'm bidded at 4 now, $500, 400 and now 4.5, 400 now 4.5, and you get 450. And I'm bidded at 400 and now 450, but you get $450. Anybody else? 450? Sold. $400 right there. 100. Congratulations, Zonley. Thank you so much for everything you do for the Dream Center, and more importantly, everything that you do for Oklahoma City. Let's give Zonley a big round of applause as he takes off from the stage. I've got our third and final live auction item for the evening. It's an OU football weekend experience. You saw the information to my left right over here off the stage. Any Sooner fans in the room tonight? Great. I'm so glad to have both of you here. Any Cowboy fans? Well, you did a much better job there. Let's try it one more time. Any Sooner fans this evening? You did a much better job. Now, Cowboy fans, I'm going to give you one more chance. Who's a Cowboy fan? Yeehaw? Is that what you say? I don't think I've ever heard yeehaw as a pistols firing. I know. Yeehaw, that's a new one, but I like it. I'm with you, 100%. All right, good deal. So, but for tonight, we've got a package for the Sooner fans in the audience. We've got an OU football weekend experience. We've got 4 seats on the 40-yard line for OU versus Iowa State on November 20th of this year. 2 nights at the Embassy Suites in Norman. $100 worth of gift cards from the Hal Smith Restaurant Group. Thank you so much, Hal, a good friend of mine. Charleston's, Ted's, Louie's, The Garage, and etc. And then on top of it, a very, very hard-to-find item, a signed photo from head coach Lincoln Riley. Really, really hard to get a hold of these days. You're getting all of it for one money, one price, 4 tickets, an entire weekend experience. And I'm going to start it out at $1,000. Who give a $1,000 baby to give $1,000 where? Who give $1,000 just to prove that you are the biggest OU fan in the room? And I bid it at $1,000 and $1,000 where? But you get one on a bid at $1, but you get $500 and I bid it at $5 and you get $500 where? $500 but you get $500 and I bid it at $5 and you get $500 and I bid it at $5. Who give $400, guys? You got 4 tickets. You got the night at the hotel. You've got the restaurant gift cards. So give me $400 to go. And I bid it at $400, and I bid it at $100. Let's go. $200 where? And now $3, and I bid it at $2, $300, and now $4. And now $500, and I bid it at $4, but you get $5, and I bid it at $4, but you get $500 where? $4, now $5, and you get $5, $5, $5, and I bid it at $4, but you get $5. Who give $450? And I bid it at $450. And now $500. Bid it at $4.5, and I'm on $5, and you get $5, $5, $5, and I bid it at $4.5, and you get $500. $4.5, and I'm on $5, and you get $5, and I bid it at $4.5, and you get $500. Thank you, sir. And now $550. I took it over here first. You be $600. I got $500 there. You be $6. And I bid it at $5. No, don't look at him. Look at me. $600. 5 and 1, $600. Thank you. Now $700, and I bid it at 6 and a on a $700 bid, and I bid it at 6 and a on $700, and I bid it at $700. Sir, eBay was right. It's better when you win. $700, and I bid it at 6 and a on $700. Everybody's watching. $700 bid. Thank you. Now $800. 7 to 1 an $800 bid. 7 to 1 able to get $800, and I bid it at 700. Now 8. Listen, I'm going to tell you what I didn't say about this experience. The 4 tickets that you're buying, you don't have to take your kids. It can be a weekend away from them. Now that's worth $1,000 in itself. I've got a few of them. All right, $800, $750, and I bid it at $700, and now $750. I bid it at $700, and now $750. $700, and now $750. Thank you very much for what you did do. We appreciate you. Sold! $700 right over there. His bidder number tonight, Brittany? 141. Bidder number 141. Thank you very much, and thank you for everything that you do for the Dream Center as well. I am so happy that we got to have a good time and talk about those things. Deborah, I'd love to pass it off to you for just a moment if you're available. We want to talk a little bit about where we're going versus where we've been. This has been an amazing night, and I can't wait to see where we're going to be going from here. Thank you very much.
Amazing night. Chad, awesome. Really enjoyed that. So I've got a few volunteers that are going to help me. I wanted to kind of give you a visual of these statistics, because we read off statistics and they're just numbers sometimes, but I'm going to show you a little visual. If I can get Evan, each table has vases. Evan's holding up on in the 73119 zip code where we are at, where inner city and the Dream Center, there are 12,145 children. Each blue and white bead represents 50 of those children. The blue beads represent 5,531 of those children that live below the poverty level. Why do we do what we do? That's why. 5,531 reasons why we get up and go to work every day. This is why we exist. At-risk kids. Dylan's holding up one. How do we, how can we impact at-risk kids? Through our Nourish Children's program, meal program. It was only able to operate 2 months last year because of the pandemic. But in 2020, in that short time, we served 719 meals. Each blue bead stands for 5 children's meals that went out from our building. Evan's got table number 3. John's got table number 3. At the Dream Center, Christmas is the most wonderful time of the year. When we see those kids' faces light up, it's just amazing. We had 110 kids sponsored by families outside of the Dream Center and receive incredible Christmases this year. So 110 beads represent 110 sponsored kids. Dylan has. We had 777 Christmas gifts given out to children via our outreach and gift distribution. Each blue bead represents 10 gifts that were given out to kids that otherwise would have not had Christmas. Number 5, the blue beads and the white beads represent the population of the 73119. 76% of all adults in the 73119 have no higher than a high school education, with 42% of those dropping out before completion of high school. The blue beads represent those with less than a high school diploma. Table number 6, Dream Center Living. You're so right about the dads. What's in my heart is restoring fatherhood because we don't see dads in the home. Our Dream Center Living, the transitional housing for men coming out of incarceration or rehab, we have had 80 young men come through our program since we started it in 2017. We're teaching them how to do life sober, how to make good decisions, how to become the men that they were supposed to be, men of God. I have one of those here with me today. Austin Stoner, would you come up just for a second? I want y'all to meet this guy because he's amazing. He's amazing. Austin, just tell me about your experience with Dream Center.
My experience with the Dream Center. Give you my testimony in 20 seconds. So I went to prison at 21. I got out at 28. Did almost 7 years. I'm from a big football town out in western Oklahoma, Clinton. Played for one of the best coaches in the state, actually probably the nation, Coach Mike Lee. We went 49-5, had 3 gold balls in a row, and I just had my sights set on college football. I'm going to go play college football. That's what I'm going to do. 4 days after I graduated, I was partying with my best friend. I was drinking and driving, and I ended up rolling my truck, and my friend died. Did 11 years, just discharged, 11-year sentence. Completely done with DOC, and to have that off my back just feels amazing. It's awesome. It's a blessing. So got out in 2015, and I found myself going back to doing the same stupid stuff that got me there, drinking, started sticking needles in my arm again, and just being an idiot. Well, I found Pastor Deb, and I found the Dream Center, and it's been amazing. But I wanted to tell you all, after Mr. Alexander's speech, I'm up here, I'm down there trying to think, man, what am I going to follow up with? Back in 2013, I was at Holdenville, Bravo South, cell 110. There was this old man, I just called him old school. He told me something that I will never forget. I will never forget what this man said to me. This is a man that's doing a life sentence with no possibility of parole. This man is never going home. One of the most happy, just free, one of the most free people I've ever met. And he told me, son, change is not always growth, but growth often finds its root in change. What the Dream Center gives, it gives men the choice to change. It's given me the choice to change, and I've changed everything in my life because of the Dream Center. And I'm just telling you, your contributions, they're going places that you can't even fathom. The Lord is going to take them places that you can't fathom. And the Dream Center is a blessing for not only men getting out of prison, but just so many people.
Awesome. So the vase Dylan is holding is 80 blue beads that represent the 80 men that came through. Table number 7, Evan. Our food pantry, which, like I said, became a drive-in food pantry with the pandemic. 1,765 families have received groceries last year. The blue beads represent 10 families served. Number 8, Miss Dillon. There she is. Through our food pantry, 6,826 meals for families were supplied. Each blue bead represents 200 mills. Number 9, the clothing closet, which is set up like a department store. I talked to one of our gentlemen who brought his 2 little girls in there one day, and he goes, "They think this is a store. Look how nice it is." But our clothing closet is one of the ways we can meet needs. 14,500 articles of clothing and or household goods were handed out last year. Each blue bead represents 100 items that was handed out. Now, this is the one that should blow your socks off. So you think, how do you do it? I mean, we have a skeleton crew. How in the world do we even expect to reach that many people? Through individuals who give up their free time and they come down and volunteer. In total, 30,000 during a pandemic, 30,000 volunteer hours put in by some wonderful people to help people find their dreams, make their dreams come true. But that's how many hours were put in last year to make all the wheels go round, every program work. And we couldn't do it without them. We could not do it without them. Table number 11. It is. The Daily Oklahoman reported that in Oklahoma, the 73119 zip code has more juveniles in state custody, whether it be foster care or incarceration, than any other zip code in Oklahoma. Also stating that the apartments, which are right pretty much across the street and around the corner, used to be called Country Club, now are Creekside. But those apartments have the highest residential 911 calls than any place else in Oklahoma. It's right around a corner. A lot of our kids that we minister to and that we are in our programs live in those apartments. The only thing that made it not number 1 overall, the top spots was Walmart Supercenter, hospitals, and the airport, and then Country Club. We've had one of our volunteers walking kids home from our programs and seeing a lady in the courtyard bleeding out because she had just been stabbed, with the police across the street unable to come and respond until backup arrived. Because it's that dangerous, and we have kids. Each blue bead in that vase represented 5 911 calls of the 651 that came from that apartment in 1 year. Violent 911 calls. So on your table, there's a little box, pretty little bow. Inside that box, if you'll open it up, go ahead, let's go ahead and open them up. Can I get someone to hand me mine? Don't throw it, I will not catch it. Inside this box is a teeny tiny little vase. Decanter holding with corkscrew. It's holding a little bitty mustard seed. Now in the Bible, Jesus used the mustard seed to talk about if we have the faith. A little bitty mustard seed. What? I'm going to speak to your hearts. It doesn't matter how little dreams are. Did you know from this tiny seed, one of the smallest, not the smallest, but probably the smallest that can produce a strong, healthy, big tree? When it's nurtured, when it's taken care of, when it's allowed to grow and allowed to be what it's supposed to be, it becomes a beautiful tree. These children, these adults, they have dreams that need to be nurtured, need to be given the opportunity to really grow and take root. I believe that the 73119 zip code can turn around. And it only takes mustard seed type dreams to grow big and change it all around. I want the kids to be able to play in the neighborhood, the apartment complex. I want people wanting to move into the area because there's been such a dynamic turnaround. Another thing this mustard seed could represent, it doesn't matter how small the funds are, how much the donation, what you could do, whether it one-time gift or reoccurring gift, every bit, every little speck, we can turn every dollar that's given to the Oklahoma City Dream Center is like giving $7. And let me tell you how. It's because in-kind donations and volunteer hours. So you give $1, we're going to make it seem like $7. That's a pretty good return. It's worth it. It's worth it to invest in the lives of people that society's given up hope on. But how many know God hasn't? And He's placed us there for such a time as this.
Let's, before we do anything, let's hear a round of applause for that mentality and that vision overall. So, for anybody who has spent any amount of time around the Dream Center or who has been at a past Night of Dreams, you know that I've typically been a part of it from the beginning. But I doubt that many people in this room know exactly why. And I am touched and I am enthusiastic about the lives that are continuing to be changed by the Dream Center, and I've had the honor of working in the middle of it, a little bit here and there as I've been able to. But what many people don't believe is that there are many lives that are being changed from the beginning, before they end up in any sort of situation, before they end up in any sort of need. And they are continuing to change this city and to compoundly change other lives that they touch on a daily basis. I had a mentor. I had a good friend, a guy who poured a lot into my life when I was a teenager and growing up and didn't have any of the ideas or the responsibilities that we're talking about here tonight. I'm happy to say that I've got a sister who's in the room. I've also got a business partner that we work together in fundraising and working with different groups, and we're here specifically because that guy touched all of us individually. His name was Robert Burke. You heard about him from Deb, and he poured into me from the time I was 13 years old and made a huge impact on who I am today. His dad is sitting right over here to my left. His boys are in the room, and they are the same ages that my girls are now when he passed away. And I remember sitting together with them and playing Nintendo 64 to try to repay a tiny, tiny fraction of what Robert paid into my own life and into my experience and into, God willing, everybody that I can touch in the future. I know there's other guys like Trevor and Garrett and Chase and probably at least half a dozen others in here who knew him personally and who have had the opportunity to know Deborah personally as you have taken up his mantle and continue to change lives. And at the end of this night, at the end of this year, at the end of this experience, at the end of this lifetime, I don't think that any one of us will ever have the slightest understanding about how each of those interactions are going to continue to move forward to change the kingdom of God as each person touches another and another and another and another and another. And that is the point of the Dream Center of Oklahoma City. Chad mentioned something. Can I call you Chad? Thank you. I appreciate that. Chad mentioned something tonight, and you spoke that we don't have a choice of who we love and how we show that love. If we're going to own it here, then we have to act out with it as well. So tonight, we have the option and we have the opportunity, but I would argue that we have the obligation to show what we want to see happen in lives that can be changed in Oklahoma City and beyond. So, we've got a small group here tonight. We haven't been able to do this in almost a year, and we missed last year. But we've got a chance now to pour into this ministry, to pour into this church, to pour into the center, and to pour into lives overall. And what I would like to ask, I'm going to ask for donations here in the room, and I'm going to tell you exactly where I'm going to go. I'm going to ask for $1,000, $500, $250, and $100. And what I would ask of every single person in this room is consider a number that is meaningful to you in some way. We can't all give at the same level. But the Bible speaks about a woman who gave 2 coins. And she was the one who was held above everybody else. Let's give what we can. Let's do what we can. Let's pour into lives, and let's pour into this ministry overall. So I'm going to ask, first off, who in the room would be willing tonight on this beautiful, beautiful April night when we've had the chance to get together for the first time in so long, who would be willing to reward the work of this ministry and this group with $1,000 donation? Right there, $1,000. Bob, thank you so very much. Right back here is another $1,000. I've got $1,000 right there right as well. Do we have bidder numbers? 150? 141? Do we have one there? 121. There's $3,000. Who else at $1,000? I've got one there and one here. What's our bidder number here? 209. Thank you so very much. I've got another one right back here, Randy. What's that number? 189 at another $1,000. Put it on 183. We're going to work on 189 as well. We'll see if we can get him there. Yes, absolutely, ma'am. Right here. Did you say? 180, 180. Thank you so very much. Who else would be willing to give $1,000 donation this evening? This is not just for us. This is not just for this ministry. This is for the future of the city that our kids and our grandkids and great-great-grandkids are going to be growing in this wonderful, wonderful city, in a place who is dead center in the middle of it and changing what we see happen overall. Anybody else at $1,000? I don't want to miss anybody at all. Anybody? Thank all of you so very much. I'm going to move on to our next increment. Absolutely give a big round of applause for all of those $1,000 donors. Who'd be willing to give a $500 donation this evening? At $500, raise your hand up proudly. Right back there, Brittany, who do you have? That's bidder number 145. Thank you, Brittany. One more right there at the same table. 145. Thank you, ma'am. Appreciate it. Who else? 228. Give both of them a big round of applause. Who else at $500 this evening? Number 170. 170 is in at $500. Thank you so very much. Give them a big round of applause right here as well. Who's that, Randy? That was it right there. Who else at $500? Anybody at all? A $500 gift. Thank each of you so very much. We're going to move on. Absolutely continue to applaud everybody who is able in any way to give and support. Who would give a $250 donation this evening? $250. Right there, right at the back. Randy, go find that out. What's your bidder number this evening? Thank you very much. Give him a round of applause. What is it? 170 again at 250. Lauren, thank you so very much. What's your number tonight? 126. 126. Brittany, right behind you. Trevor? 138, and right here at this table as well. What's your number tonight, sir? 123. All at $250. Give them all a big round of applause. Anybody else this evening? Right here at the front, and your number is 110. 110. Thank you very much, sir. We appreciate it. Anybody else at $250? Anybody else? Let's give a big round of applause for all of our $250 donors as well. We appreciate you. My goodness. Now, we're going to move on to our last increment for the evening, and we're going to end it up. We appreciate your time, and we appreciate the time that you have spent here, not only learning, but at giving in to the Dream Center of Oklahoma City as well. I'm going to start at our last amount, $100, the cost of 1 cup of Starbucks coffee. Who'd give a $100 donation? Right here. Thank you. What's your number? 175. Right next to you, that number is 174. Thank you very much. Randy, $100 right back there. What is it? 186 at $100. And this is, what's it? 105. Austin, I was touched by your story tonight. Thank you so much for sharing it. You're showing us what the Dream Center can and will continue to do in this city and surrounding. Right back here, another $100. Mark, what's your number? 161 at $100. Brittany, 136 right here. 117. Thank you so much. That's number 154 at another $100. Guys, every single dollar given, like Deb said, is going to be multiplied over and over, not just in its effectiveness, but in its ability to impact the kingdom as it continues to move forward. Who else at $100? Anybody at all? Another $100 bid? Let's give everybody a huge round of applause this evening. Thank you all so much for your commitment to this ministry, to this organization, and for joining us tonight. And I would say as well that in the app, in the website that you found tonight, you do have an option, if you would be willing. You can choose to create a regular monthly donation that can be coming out. So if any of those increments didn't make sense to you, but you'd be willing to give, I've got a good friend who created a 12 by 12 program, is what they called it. And $12 a month for 12 months is $144. So let's call that 7 times what it would be. And I'm not a mathematician, but 700 plus 280 plus another 28, we're looking at about $998. Well, I guess I am doing okay. I guess I'm an auctioneer. I work in numbers overall. But $12 a month can do quite a bit overall. I messed that up completely, didn't I? $12 a month is $144 a year. I was multiplying the 144. So just keep it going for 12 years straight. A little bit can add up. 12 people at $12 a month. Well, goodness, I'm glad we're able to laugh together. Listen, take a look at everything else. We've still got the online auction that's going on, and I think that we have our 50-50 raffle that's ready to go. You want to come right up here with me? Let's give our Miss Vanna White a big round of applause. I'm going to make you shake it up as much as you can, and I'm going to look away so that nobody could ever say that I had anything to do with anything at all. You hold it out where my hand's going. I missed it. Okay, all right. Get it back in, and I'm going to go 1, 2, 3. Oh, I made it that time. All right, I'm mixing them up. Well, I'm doing it again. That's all right, that doesn't matter. I got the one that matters. If anybody has this number here, do we know what the total was? $620. So the winning bidder is going, or the winning raffle winner is going to have $310. Is that correct? For the 50-50 raffle. All right, let's everybody hold your tickets up in the air if you have a raffle ticket. I see people holding multiple tickets. That's great. Let's see what we got right here. It's 795. Is everybody still in? 7 1. Oh, I heard. Oh, actually, I think I heard a word that I shouldn't say on the microphone. 795 716. Right there. Give him a big round of applause. There's our 50-50 raffle winner. What's your name? Jake. Jake just said he's going to take that 50% and make it 100% raffle, 100% for the Dream Center. Jake, you're a good man. Thank you so very much. We love seeing that. Thank you very much for everything that you do. We've got one more video that we're going to pull up on the screen this evening. If you wouldn't mind putting your attention to the screens, we appreciate it.
Hi, my name's Haley Patton.
And I'm Tracy Buckner.
My entire life, my parents used drugs, and my stepfather was abusive to my mom. So my whole childhood was that, like, there was no normal. It was constantly worrying about, like, if my mom's gonna OD, or making sure my brother gets to school safely, you know, or is my dad gonna beat everyone up because he's drunk. Just, that was my childhood. When I was about 7 years old, we were waking up for school. I woke my little brother up to get ready for school, and my mom was asleep on the couch. And I tried to wake her up, and she wouldn't wake up. And so I called my grandma, which I knew my mom was using drugs. And so I call my grandma and I tell her that my mom's not waking up. And my grandma comes over and she can't get her to wake up, and my stepdad comes in. And the only thing that I can remember is him throwing water on her to try to wake her up because she was so high. And slapping her in the face to get her to wake up. And I remember her going, she finally woke up and she went to the bathroom. She was sitting on the toilet and she didn't look alive. Like, it didn't look like my mom. And so, like, no 7-year-old or any age should have to go through that.
We lived in a motel room after I got involved with the wrestling team again. And then
parents were stealing drugs.
Yeah.
Like, that was probably the worst they were ever.
Yeah.
Is when they were in that motel.
And then my mom got beat up, and then so we told Miss Candace, and then she took us into foster care, I guess. That's the word.
Yeah, it was like a temporary like guardianship.
Yeah.
So they went to go live with her, and they helped my mom and my stepdad get into Teen Challenge. So Teen Challenge is a rehab facility. So they stayed there for a year. They went to Candace's, and she had guardianship over them. And I went to my biological dad's house and lived with him. So if I can help a kid that is going through that by working at the Dream Center, then I will, and that's worth it.
So because of God in the Dream Center, my mom is now 5 or 6 years sober, and we're doing well and have a good living situation.
Yeah, I think this is the strongest and the best I've ever seen my mom. Growing up, she wasn't mentally there. She was present, but she wasn't mentally there. And now it's amazing to see how like God has completely changed her. And you know, without the Dream Center, my mom probably would be dead right now. If anyone is considering donating to the Dream Center, your money is being well invested. It's going to anywhere from our kids programs to our food pantry to our clothing closet to our Dinner on Us program. It's saving people's lives.
How about another big round of applause on that right there? I'll say that's the first time that I saw that video. And I had the chance earlier this week to meet Haley. And I haven't met her brother Trey, but just from watching the tears and the people hugging in the room, I'm pretty sure that their mom is here as well tonight. I won't point anybody out, but let's give all of that family a huge, huge round of applause. And recognize the fact that, Haley, your family's life was changed by the Dream Center. And now you have the opportunity to compound that into changing other lives as well. Thank you for paying that forward, and thank you for giving to the Lord overall on everything that you do. We appreciate that. That's going to end our program for the evening. I hope that you've been touched in some way, and I hope that you leave from here and continue to allow this experience to touch other people and to share the stories that you heard tonight so that we can continue to see the growth of change in Oklahoma City. On your way out as you're leaving, we have a new program, the DC Living Program, on a renovation that's over here. We have our board member right over here at the table. If you'd like to hear about what's coming next, stop and take a look at that. But I will say on behalf of Deb, on behalf of Chase, on behalf of all of the board and the staff, we are so, so honored, blessed that you chose to spend this evening with us. And we appreciate your continued investment into this ministry and to the lives that it continues to touch. Thank you again for being here tonight, everybody.